Hey YouTube, what is up and welcome back to the channel. Now today we've got something kind of different, I guess. It's kind of my New Year's special, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions for the year of 2022 in the world of MMA. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy this kind of different type of content. My first little prediction is that Rose Namajunas will be the champion by the end of the year, and also I think she's going to defend her belt probably around 2 times, which, by the way, guys, before we jump even further into this video, I'm going to be putting chapters in the description so you can jump around to see certain weight classes if you just want to hear those. I got some really crazy predictions for certain weight classes that some people might not like, so skip around, find whatever you want. There will be chapters down in the description below. But anyways, I just wanted to say that. Anyways, I think Rose will be champ by the end of the year. I think 2 title defenses is pretty realistic for her. Maybe against names like, I don't know, Marina Rodriguez, Carla Esparza even maybe. I don't know. But also a bit of a boldish prediction, contender type prediction for that. I think Mackenzie Dern actually has a lot of potential, and I think she's going to make her way up into at least number 1, number 2 contender spot and possibly get a title shot going in 2023, maybe late 2022. But I think end of 2022, I think Rose will be champ. I think Mackenzie Dern, if she does get the title shot, I think she loses that fight. If she doesn't, Rose will still be champ. So that's my prediction. At women's flyweight, obviously we have the dominant champ, Valentina Shevchenko. I think she's going to stay champ for the entirety of the year, maybe make 2 or 3 title defenses against names like Talia Santos, Vivine Araujo, I can't pronounce her name. She could be kind of an interesting matchup. I think Shevchenko dominates pretty much everyone. I mean, the division's not that crazy interesting because, Talia Santos lost to Andrade. I'm pretty sure Andrade lost to Shevchenko. And Andrade is the number 1 contender, but Andrade got dominated. So my prediction for women's flyweight and women's bantamweight kind of ties together. So I kind of think there's a couple different possibilities for Valentina Shevchenko and the women's bantamweight division next year. I think we could see Shevchenko dominate 2 title fights, then move up a weight class to bantamweight and either challenge Nunes or Pena, whoever wins that rematch, which I'm going to talk about in just a sec. I think she could maybe challenge for that, and I think her becoming a double champ in 2022 is not out of the picture. I think she beats Pena, and I think if Nunes beats Pena, which I guess I'll give that prediction right now anyways, I think Nunes will beat Pena in the rematch, but I think she might retire after she does. So I think that belt either will be vacated and Shevchenko goes up, wins, becomes double champ, wins that vacant belt, or Pena wins, Nunes doesn't get the cardio issue under control. I think we see Shevchenko as a double champ. I think we see Nunes still at featherweight. The Kayla Harrison fight could still be there, I guess, if she wins to Pena and doesn't want to retire, wins against Pena and doesn't want to retire. Maybe the Kayla Harrison fight's for Nunes. That's there for Nunes. But anyways, I think strawweight, bantamweight, they kind of tie together. Other names that are kind of possibly in the mix at bantamweight, women's bantamweight, someone like Holly Holm is kind of coming up. Jermaine Duran to me, I guess she could because, she does have a recent win over Juliana Pena. So, I don't know. I honestly see Valentina Shevchenko as double champ by the end of 2022. Men's flyweight, I think that we're going to see Moreno Figgy 3. I think that's pretty much guaranteed to happen, and I think it's going to be a pretty exciting fight. I think I see Moreno winning it. After their first fight, I thought Figgy was going to win the rematch. Moreno just looked really good in that second fight. So the third fight, it's kind of a toss-up for me, but right now I'm leaning towards Moreno. I think that one probably goes 5 rounds, maybe 4th round KO, TKO, or submission. But anyways, I think Moreno will hang on to the belt then, and then I think we're either going to see him versus Alejandro Pantoja or Askar Askarov. I think Askar Askarov beats Moreno. I think Alejandro Pantoja is a tough fight for Moreno, but I think Moreno wins that one. They already have been willing to throw Pantoja at Moreno, so that is a semi-realistic possibility. Either one of those. I think by the end of the year, though, I think Moreno will still be champ, and I think they're going to give Pantoja the title shots over Askar Askarov, but I don't know. Maybe we see those 2 fight. But also a bit of a bold prediction for prospects in the division. I got 2 for this weight class. I think Kai Kara France is going to be the number 1 contender by the end of the year, and I think he beats Moreno second quarter 2023. Also, I think that Manel Kopp is going to make a rise into top 5 area of the division. I think he had a rocky start first 1 or 2 fights where he lost in the UFC, but he's just been dominant. He's been on a tear ever since. So I do think that we see Manel Kape in the top 5. I think he's got a lot of potential, and I think he's going to be someone that we'll be talking about come my 2023 prediction video. And at men's bantamweight, I think pretty much a lot could really happen at this weight class. I think Petr Yan winning the belt over Aljamain Sterling is probably going to happen. I think they're going to make that rematch. I think Aljo's going to defend against Peter, and I think Peter's going to win that probably by KO, or TKO rather, probably 4th, 5th round, around there. I don't think Aljo has the cardio to deal with him. Or if Sterling for some reason isn't able to make that fight, if he has to keep pulling out, I think the UFC is not scared to strip Aljo. I love the heel character that he's kind of been playing, though, since he's won the belt. It's funny, but I think the UFC is going to probably strip him if he doesn't defend pretty quickly on into the year, and I think we're going to get Petr Yan versus TJ Dillashaw for the undisputed belt, regardless of if Peter versus Aljo happens. I think Peter wins that fight, and or if Aljamain vacates. So I think we see Petr Yan versus TJ Dillashaw for the undisputed belt. I think it's 100% happening next year. I also think that Merab Mavaldashvili, I can't pronounce his last name, guys. I'm sorry. I guess I'm not a true MMA fan. I can't pronounce Merab's last name. But anyways, I think he probably fights for the belt, maybe second, third quarter, first, second quarter 2023. I don't think he gets a title shot at bantamweight in 2022, but I also think that we're going to see Jose Aldo kind of be a bit of a possibly stepping stone for Merab. I think Merab versus Jose makes actually a lot of sense right now. I think they make that fight. Merab wins that. He propels himself into title contention, or Merab waits out, and we see Dominic Cruz versus Jose Aldo. Winner of that takes on Merab, and I think Merab beats both those guys. Bit of a bold prediction, though, for the division. I think that Sean O'Malley is going to fight a couple of ranked opponents next year. I know, it's super bold, but I think he's going to fight a couple of ranked opponents. I think he's going to have some decent success. I mean, he's ranked 12th right now, so he's definitely, at the time of this recording, obviously, he's ranked 12th, so I think he'll probably do pretty decent. I think end of the year, he's in top 7. I think he's probably going to fight an unranked opponent for his first fight 2022, but second fight 2022, I think he fights someone that gets him into the top 7. Featherweight, another just completely chaotic division. There's so many variables, so many things you got to think about when you're predicting this division, but I think we see Volkanovski, Holloway 3, and I think Volkanovski beats Holloway more dominantly than he did before. I'm a massive Max Holloway fan, and I don't want to see that because I'm such a big Holloway fan, but I think we see Volkanovski just dominate Max Holloway. I think he's gotten to the point where he's the perfect style to defeat Max Holloway at this point, but you never know. I also think that Volkanovski's going to defend the belt against Josh Emmett, and I think that's going to actually be probably tougher than the Max Holloway fight. I think Volkanovski's going to dominate Max. I'm using that word fairly loosely here. Not total domination, but I think that Josh Emmett fight is honestly maybe a little harder for Volkanovski. Josh Emmett has pretty good wrestling. It might be tough. And I think Volkanovski will still be champ at the end of the year. But for Max Holloway, if he goes out and loses that fight, I think he might end up being a gatekeeper at 45, which I hate to see. I really think, he could be a gatekeeper at 45, but what I want to see as a fan of his, and something that I think is fairly possible, is him moving up to 55, and retirement too. Retirement is a possibility, but I hope to see him move up to 55. And also at the end of the year, I think Giga Chikadze is possibly going to be the number 1 contender. Maybe he fights another time after Calvin Kattar. Maybe he jumps Josh Emmett, gets a title shot over Josh Emmett, which is a fairly realistic possibility. Depends how he performs against Calvin Kattar. It's going to be, that hasn't happened yet, so it's hard to tell. But I think Giga might be a perfect style against Volk. I don't know, though. I think he's similar to Max, so I don't know. I think Volkanovski might win that, but I think end of the year, Volkanovski's champ. That's a tough one to pick, but I think Volkanovski's champ at the end of the year still. At lightweight, obviously this division I feel like is going to be just a big game of musical chairs, a lot of changing of the title. I think Gaethje fights Oliveira. I think Gaethje wins that fight in a really close fight, and then I think Gaethje goes on to defend the belt against Islam Makhachev and just gets dominated against Makhachev. I'm more interested to see Oliveira Makhachev though, so I kind of want to see that. I don't know which one of those is going to happen. I think Gaethje beats Oliveira. But I don't know, man. Oliveira's just so tough now, I guess. I don't know. But I think Makhachev is the champ at the end of the year. And I think the story of the lightweight division this coming year is going to be that the up-and-comers, the prospects that we've been talking about, like Arman Tsarukyan, Rafael Fiziev, etc., I think those guys are going to come up and actually start beating some of these top contenders. I think we're going to see Rafael Fiziev emerge as he's going to be in the top 5 at the end of the year. I think we'll see Rafael Fiziev emerge. I think Arman Tsarukyan is actually a really scary fight for a lot of guys. I think he'll be probably top 7. I'm trying to think of some other prospects. I don't know. Sorry, I didn't write a good script for this. But anyways, I think Fiziev might be number whatever contender, probably fight Islam 2023. But at the end of the year, 2022, Islam Makhachev will be the lightweight champion. Also, I think Poirier-McGregor 4 is a fairly realistic possibility. I don't think they're going to make a McGregor-Oliveira. At least I hope they don't, because that would suck. I would not want to even... I watch it, but I would not want to see it. I think most likely they're going to make something like Poirier-McGregor 4. Or if Diaz-Poirier becomes something that happens, if Poirier wants to chase the bag with Diaz instead of McGregor, we might see McGregor versus Ferguson. Either one of those has me really excited. I think McGregor beats Ferguson. I think he loses to Poirier. And I think by the end of the year, a couple bold predictions as well. I think we see Ferguson being released from the UFC. And I also think that Paddy Pimblett is not going to be the hype that everyone thinks he is. And I think he's going to lose at least once next year, once or twice in 2022. At welterweight, obviously another super stacked division. I think we're going to see Usman stay champ for probably the entire year. I think we'll see him defend the belt against Leon Edwards. And then either Luque or Khamzat Chimaev, maybe both of them. I don't know. I think one of those guys, I think we'll see him versus Luque. That's probably maybe more realistic. I don't know. Khamzat's got so much hype. I think we might see Usman versus Leon and then Usman versus Khamzat. And I think Khamzat Chimaev... or I think Usman beats Leon, but I think Usman and Khamzat is a really, really close fight. I'm talking GSP Hendricks levels of controversy. People don't know who to score it to. Obviously, that one was more for Hendricks, but I think the debate will last a long time, like the GSP Hendricks debate has. I think we're going to see an Usman victory in a really close, maybe split decision. I think that's going to be a really controversial decision. And then I think Usman wins that, and I think he vacates. I think he retires. There's not a lot more for him to do if he wants to keep chasing records. Maybe he'll stay, but I think a pretty likely option is that we see Kamaru Usman retire from MMA, and we see Covington, Gilbert Burns, Vicente Luque if he gets passed up for the title, and Chimaev, all 4 of those guys kind of in the running for a vacant title shot. And at the end of the year, I think we'll have Usman retired. I think the belt will be vacant at 170, and I think a vacant title fight will be coming up in the near future. Also, a bit of a bold prediction here. It's not that crazy bold, I guess, but I think we'll see Kevin Holland in the top 15 at welterweight. No one really knows what the weight cut's going to be like for him down to 170 except for himself, so it'll be interesting to see how he performs at that weight class. But I'm predicting right now, he's just so long. Making 170 is going to be pretty hard for him, but he's just too little for 185, I guess. So I think we'll see him probably top 15 welterweight. At middleweight, obviously we have Israel Adesanya. He's going to defend the belt again against Whitaker. That's confirmed. I think he beats Whitaker, but in a closer fight than the first one. I think he still beats Whitaker. And then I think he fights either Brunson or Cannonier. I think he does end up fighting Cannonier, though. I think Cannonier beats Brunson. So I think maybe we see Cannonier. I don't know, man. Blonde Brunson is a different beast, though. I don't know, but right now I'm gonna, I guess, say Cannonier versus Izzy. Izzy likes Cannonier a lot too, so he'll definitely give him the shot. And I think Izzy beats Cannonier. And I think by the end of the year, we still see Adesanya as champ. I think probably 2 title defenses for him is pretty realistic. Also, bit of a kind of sad prediction, if I'm honest. I don't even know why I thought to put this in the video, but I think Chris Weidman, I hope he makes a return, but I think he's going to lose in that return and maybe retire. I think the leg injury is just, it was just horrific, man. I hate even talking about it. I can't help but just feel for the guy. It's just, man, it sucks. But on a slightly lighter note, I guess we got Imavov. I can't pronounce his. I'm not even going to try. I think he's going to be top 5 Imavov. I also think that Sean Strickland is going to be number 1, number 2 contender in that series. I think he beats Jack Hermanson. Maybe I'm buying into the hype of Sean Strickland, but I think he's got so much energy or whatever. He's gonna, the murderous, whatever that guy is.
Oh man, no! If I kill somebody,
I think he heads into 2023 as number 1 contender, and
well, I'm okay.
maybe
I accept
hopefully
that. Like if you're right, it's me, and maybe I have a brain aneurysm and die. You hear me say, "I'm okay." That's a good death.
Don't die. Don't die.
We're all gonna die sometime, you know.
You're really
shitting in a pan.
I don't know why I went there with Sean Strickland, but anyways, up at light heavyweight, Glover Teixeira, I think they gave him Yuri Prochazka. That's pretty much not guaranteed, but I think we see Yuri Prochazka versus Glover Teixeira, and I think we see Yuri defend the belt against Alexander Rakic, and I honestly could see Rakic being champ. I think right now, thinking about it, I see Yuri winning that fight, but I think it's a pretty close fight. And honestly, seeing Rakic as champion at the end of the year wouldn't shock me. I guess my final prediction for the light heavyweight title picture at the end of the year, I think we'll have Yuri Prochazka as the champ still. I also think we're going to see the retirement of Glover Teixeira, and I also think we're going to start to see a bit of a downfall from Jan Blachowicz. Hopefully not, because that guy's just a lot of fun, man. You can't help but not enjoy when he fights, but I think he'll probably fall top 10, 15 for Jan Blachowicz in 2022, depending on how active he is. I don't know, maybe he's not that active and stays around top 5. At heavyweight, obviously we've got Ngannou coming up fairly soon, fairly quickly, and right now I'm thinking that Ngannou beats Ngannou. I think he wins that probably by, maybe finishes him, I don't know, and I also think that Ngannou is going to leave the UFC. The contract negotiations have been a thing for him, so I think we see Gon defend his belt against Jon Jones or Stipe, either one of those. I don't think we're going to see Jon Jones thrown in a fight against Stipe or like Derek Lewis or someone for like a number one contender fight. I think we probably see Stipe versus Gon, but maybe Jon Jones versus Gon. Either one of those is a 50-50 possibility. I think Gon beats both of them, though. I think Jon Jones is a harder fight than Stipe, but I think Gon still beats Jon Jones, man. I'm buying into the hype of Gon. I don't care. That guy's so good, man. I gotta go with Gon at the champ at the end of the year. Also, I think Tom Aspinall is going to continue his fairly slow-ish rise. I guess for MMA, it's a semi-slow rise. He's going to be top 5 probably by the end of the year, or midway through the year, whatever. He's going to be top 5, top 6. I also think that Tai Tuivasa, I know he's a fan favorite, so I kind of chucked him in here. I think he's probably gonna, I don't know how far I see him truly going. I think by the end of the year, I think he's probably gonna win a fight and then maybe lose a fight this year. I think at the end of the year we see him probably like ranked like 8th in the division. Obviously rankings don't mean a ton, but yeah, that's going to do it. I mean, that's all my predictions, man. I hope none of them were too crazy for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this type of content. It's new. It's different. Hope you like the new type of lighting. I changed up the hair for the video just for fun. It's a new year, all that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. And if you are new here, it doesn't hurt anyone to subscribe. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Happy New Year. And hopefully I get some of these right.